Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the two trades I took today. Um, I'm not necessarily overly happy with how I traded today. Obviously, the result is good because I ended up making money, but I'm not very happy with myself and how I traded. Um, I didn't break any rules per se, but I, in my opinion, was being a little bit overzealous with my entries, especially on a day where it was hard to read what price wanted to do. Um, I think the first trade could have been. I was also trading. Um, I'm back home now, but I was trading from the bus because office Wi-Fi was down. So I drove in and then drove back. So I was trading on the way back home on my phone. Haven't ever actually placed a trade on my Express account on my phone before, so that was new territory for me. This first entry here we'll go over. I entered with a market order, so I was late entering here. It's probably looking more like this where the entry happened. I waited for this candle to go down a little bit, and then, or I'm sorry, I waited for this next candle to go down a little bit. And once it did, I entered, and I literally entered at the worst possible time. Like a second after I entered, this candle decided to just plummet down all the way to here, and then the next candle took me out. Um, I de-risked. I only traded one contract on this trade because again I was trading from my phone, wasn't at my desk, didn't want to over risk. So only traded one contract on here, so not bad. And then this one was also one contract. So I de-risked knowing that I wasn't home to trade and I was trading from my phone. New territory for me. Um, so I'm happy with that portion of things, but let's just go over the trades here. So obviously we took the previous daily high. We took that pre-market with CPI. CPI took that. So I just, not much on the daily. I just marked up previous daily high and previous daily low. Obviously there's this fair value gap here, but we're not anywhere near it at this point. This 4 hour candle looks just atrocious. And this is what made price so hard to read. We didn't inverse this fair value gap here, this 4 hour. We respected it with this candle. The way this 4 hour candle closed, we respected it. So that makes you bearish. And we inverse this 15 minute, that makes you bearish. On the 1 hour though, we were entering into a 1 hour fair value gap, albeit not the greatest fair value gap ever, but we were entering a fair value gap here. So there was reasons to be bearish, there was reasons to be bullish, and it just made it tough to read. Tougher to read. So that was the 4 hour. Obviously the 4 hours respecting a 4 hour fair value gap. So that makes us maybe tip to bullishness rather than bearishness, but again, still tough to read. And then 1 hour, you see that same fair value gap. 15 minute. Obviously we do have some equal lows here, which I don't love to see, especially when I have my stop near them if I'm entering a trade. But this reaction was very good off of this 1 hour fair value gap after the 10 a.m. candle closed. Or the 9 a.m. candle closed at 10. This first trade, we were inside of a 15-minute fair value gap. And obviously respecting the 4 hour fair value gap on the higher time frame. And we did just take previous daily high, but that's okay in my opinion. Because of the reaction we got, especially with this 5-minute candle inversing this. It was a 5-minute inversion. I was going to get rid of I was not going to enter on this trade had we taken this high prior to it coming down towards where I wanted my entry to be, near this 5-minute inversion. But we didn't, and we left equal highs there, so that worked out for this next trade I took that we targeted those. That was the first trade that I took literally waiting for the bus, I took this trade and got stopped out within a minute. Now, the strategy, the trade itself, all held up. Like, I didn't break any rules here. I wouldn't. This would have been a perfect entry with the limit if I was at my charts and was ready to take this, but I was walking over. I left the office at this point and I was walking towards the bus station, so I wasn't trading. I was walking on my, so I couldn't trade on my phone. Once I got to the bus station, I could trade, and I realized, okay, I might be able to get an entry here. I mean, this spot, and then had I been entered off of a limit here with this candle, I still wouldn't have broke even. And the trade, I like that trade a lot, to be honest, especially with the 5-minute inversion. And then this trade here ended up playing out for us. This one, I'll show you where I entered. So after we got a strong reaction off of this 1 hour, I waited to see if we can invert on the 2-minute, because I'm pretty sure the 3-minute didn't have any. I mean, the 3-minute had this inversion, which we actually did end up tapping into. So that would have been really good RR. But I wanted to get an entry if I could, and this was the nearest inversion fair value gap. And obviously I accounted for the 3-minute just in case we were going to tap into the 3-minute. I had my stop at the low, so it didn't matter. There was a 4-minute as well that we didn't tap into, also accounted for. And then 5-minute didn't have an inversion. So technically I didn't enter off of the highest time frame inversion fair value gap, but I accounted for all of them. It's not like I accounted for all of them. And I wanted to make sure I got an entry, so that was good. Now, my mentor took this same trade. I don't know what inversion he used, but he ended up putting his stop to break even. He ended up breaking even on this trade, or taking very, very small profit, because he didn't like how we were rejecting off of this 5-minute again with this candle. And I remain in this trade. The reason I remain in this trade is because, yes, we were rejecting off of this, but it was already used. Like, I don't know, I just didn't feel, and it was such a small fair value gap too. Like, I thought there was a good chance that we could disrespect it, and we ended up doing that. I set my stop to break even once we were above this high. That's also another reason why I remain in this trade, is because, yes, we could have respected that, and it could have went down to my stop loss, but I had my break even at that high, so like I was already breaking even pretty quickly, and I had confidence we would get to that high at the very least. So I broke even pretty fast, and then we luckily did not tap me break even, and we kept going to my take profit, which was up here. Yes, I could have targeted this. No, I'm not upset I didn't. I think something interesting to note is that at 1050, ES took this high. So we had an SMT at 1050 that I was a little nervous for. We had taken that high in ES. I thought, oh shit, maybe NASDAQ doesn't need to come take that high now. So at 1050 right here with this candle, we took the high on ES. So, and with that close too, I didn't love what I was seeing around this time. Luckily, ended up coming through for us. But yeah, that was the trade. Those were the trades, I should say. I'll show the entries or the executions on Top Step here and my profit for the day. Give me a second. All right. Switching over. Okay. So these were my executions. Up $78 on the day. Obviously, this is my OneExpress account that I have. And then the other two accounts I have are trading combines that I am copy trading with this account. So technically, we're up $78 of real money, and then total money we're up is 78 times 3, whatever the hell that is. And here are the executions, right? This was the first execution I made for that 5-minute entry that I was talking about, and just immediately stopped out almost on the same candle. And then this was the next entry here. Once we inverse the 2-minute, I entered off of this candle with a market order as well. I was only entering with market orders today because it's really hard to place a limit order on the phone on Top Step X. It's very, very hard. So I was just placing market orders where as close as I could to the limit order. And yeah, that was a trade. Each trade, like I said, only one contract put on. I was de-risking today, being that I wasn't at my desk and I was on my phone. So yeah, those were the trades, and that was the result. So.